It seems a commit comes to College Park every day as Buzz Williams continues to build his roster. Maryland lacrosse finds 2 big wins over the Buckeyes, and 1 Maryland senior is officially a pro. It's all here on this week's edition of The Left Bench.
I love how hard this unit is. They're feisty.
Kind of the theme for the season is just way too many freebies.
Hello and welcome to The Left Bench, brought to you by Terrebonne Sports Central. I'm Matthew Neus, that's AlexabWootten, and Alexa, Maryland men's lacrosse picked up another big ranked road win this weekend.
That's right, Matt. They needed a response after the letdown loss to Rutgers, and they found that one in Columbus.
Yes, they did.
Number 6, Maryland men's lacrosse delivered a big-time response with a win over number 2, Ohio State on the road. Oh, and Logan McNaney continues to be a star for the Terps, this time shattering a program record. First quarter, McNaney makes his first save of the game, breaking a 40-year program record for saves, 715 total. He notched 10 saves in this game alone. Terps trail 2-1 midway through the first quarter. But Maryland takes a 1-goal lead and finds a spark, scoring 7 unanswered goals through the second and third quarter, and cruising to a 13-8 victory over the number 2 team in the country and their 7th ranked win of the season.
And to break down Maryland's big away win and to take a closer look ahead of this week's rivalry game, we're happy to have Nolan Rogalski, the men's lacrosse beat writer for Testudo Times. Nolan, thanks for coming on.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Well, we're going to start off with, I think, the thing everyone is talking about right now in College Park. Logan McNaney breaks the program record for saves, a 40-year program, 715 saves to his career right now. What kind of anchor has he just been for this Maryland team?
I mean, Logan McNaney has been the key to Maryland's success this year. The guy is incredible. I mean, 715 saves, as you said. Right now, this year, he's got a 61% save percentage. He's 5th in the Big Ten, and it's really understated, even with all the accolades and the awards that he's getting, how good he is. I mean, this is a guy that communicates, organizes his defense. The Terps, when he is on his game, don't lose. The 2 times he's been under 500 in save percentage this year, they've lost both games.
And, I want to ask you, because Saturday's win was the 3rd against a top 2 team this season. What gets them going against these top-ranked teams compared, like a Rutgers game where they're unranked and they get upset?
Yeah, I mean, I think with that star power, the defense really steps up to the occasion. And obviously it starts with McNaney, but he, Will Schaller, and Eric Kolar were all named to the media first-team All-American mid-season list. These guys are able to just take the best players on the opposition team and fully neuter them.
And now, looking back to this last game they had against the number 2 team in the nation, the Terps went on a run to score 7 unanswered goals across the second and third quarter. They took an 11-3 lead. What really just was the spark behind that?
I mean, that came down to the Terps attacking midfielders. It was fascinating to watch them really get into groove after a tough start to the Big Ten season. Through 3 games against Big Ten opponents, Terps attacking midfielders had 5 goals. Then against Ohio State, they had 5 in the second quarter alone. It was that response from guys such as Matthew Keegan, Jack Schultz, the freshman stepping up, Bryce Ford, Zach Whittier. They have turned their season around, and that is something that will give the Terps a lot more danger in the offense, make teams respect them that little bit more going forward.
Now, this Friday, biggest game of the regular season for Maryland. Johns Hopkins comes to town. What does Maryland have to do to be able to hoist the Crab Trophy come the end of the game and avoid another unranked upset?
Well, Johns Hopkins, tough start to the season. They have gone 0-4 in conference play. A lot of that has come down to injuries. They've lost a really strong defensive midfielder. Their goalie's been going through it. And the biggest thing is for the Terps is to simply show up and play their game, because as we've seen, Maryland can beat the top teams. They have been liable in the past, and we do know that Johns Hopkins will be giving it their all. I mean, this is the rivalry. But at the end of the day, I think that the Terps fans can look on with confidence that their team has the ability to get it done this year.
And the Big Ten tournament is on the horizon. Where do you think today Maryland stands, and what do they need to do to have a chance to raise that trophy with the conference title?
I mean, I think as of right now, the Terps are easily one of the top 2-3 favorites to win it all. As we've seen, Michigan and Ohio State, 3-1 starts in conference. They're very good teams. The Terps have the resume. They've shown if they can back it up. But the big thing to watch out for Maryland is scoring droughts. In those 2 losses against Rutgers and against Michigan, the Terps really struggled to connect their passes and score the ball for stretches of play. I mean, against Rutgers, they had 1 goal in the span of, against Michigan, they had 1 goal in the span of 20 minutes. Against Rutgers, they had 3 separate scoring droughts, 14 minutes, 17 minutes, and 20 minutes. You simply cannot go that long without scoring and expect to win the game, and you got to think that head coach John Tillman's going to be drilling that into his team as they look forward to the postseason.
Well, Nolan, that's all we have time for today. Thanks so much for taking the time and sitting down with us.
Thank you.
You can read all of Nolan's work at TestudoTimes.com and follow him at X at Nolan Rogalski.
Number 9, Maryland women's lacrosse returned to the win column on Sunday against Ohio State, something the Terps have been all too familiar with for the last decade. Kayla Gilmore and Shelby Sullivan got the scoring started for the Terps to jump out to an early 2-0 lead. Ohio State goalie Jocelyn Torres had 12 saves on the day, multiple coming right in front of the goal. The Terps were tied at 3 midway through the second quarter, but then Maryland takes the lead and never looks back, scoring 3 unanswered goals. It's been over 10 years since the Buckeyes got the best of the matchup, and with the strong defensive performance, the Terps were able to extend their winning streak with an 8-5 victory. Here's Coach Kathy Reese on what she thought of her defense.
I thought our defense was really disciplined today. We didn't really go for checks, and we did. They were fouls, as they rightfully should be, but we were really disciplined. We did a good job of taking care of the ball moving out.
Not only did the Terps get the win, but Maryland women's lacrosse celebrated its senior day on Sunday.
TSC's Ben Volker took a look at some of the veteran Terps and how they impacted the game and the program.
Following Maryland's 8-5 win against Ohio State on Sunday, the Terrapins hosted a post-game senior day ceremony. Among those celebrated was Maryland's assist leader, graduate student Chrissy Thomas, who has spent her last 5 years repping the Terps.
Well, Chrissy is a really special person and special part of our Maryland families, and she's been an excellent leader for us. But I think more important than lacrosse is just her personality radiates and is contagious. Her love for the game, her love for her friends, her love for Maryland. She would do anything for her teammates and for her coaches, and that's what I'm most proud of.
And as for Thomas, she accounted for half of Maryland's points, including 3 assists and a goal of her own.
This program is just so special, and I've had so many great teammates for the past 5 years, so it was just really cool. I feel like my senior day was never gonna come, and now it's here. So.
Her first assist came in the first quarter, when she fed the ball to Shelby Sullivan to put Maryland up 2-0. Thomas then connected with fellow graduate student Kate Seitz just before halftime to maintain Maryland's 2-goal lead. The duo of Seitz and Thomas struck again in the third quarter, putting the Terps up 7-4. Less than a minute later, Thomas capped Maryland's scoring for the day by driving to the goal for her 4th point of the game. With 3 more assists, Thomas inches closer to cracking the top 10 on Maryland's all-time assist leaderboard. She is currently 6 away from this milestone. And with 2 more regular season games against Rutgers and number 4 Johns Hopkins, Thomas is focused on what's ahead.
I think senior day is really special, but in my head I'm like, I have a lot more season left to play. So yeah, it was good to celebrate, but I want to keep going.
Thanks, Ben. Now, I know one of those seniors that was honored on Sunday, Chrissy Thomas, took her 5th year, decided to come back, kind of be the leader of this team on a young team with a lot of freshmen. And it's so good to see her kind of, explode on the offensive end and, just get the most out of her 5th season.
Yeah, and Chrissy was one of those players last season who just really started to just up her game to a new level. I mean, she was racking up goals, and I think Kathy Reese and the entire Maryland program was probably very excited for her to come back and just build on that success and, like you said, just be that leader for this team as a 5th-year senior.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, a big weekend for Maryland lacrosse, but an even bigger week for Cheyenne Sellers. Not only is the Maryland senior attending the 2025 WNBA draft and now a part of the W, but she also is now engaged. First up, Sellers is one of 15 players invited to attend the WNBA draft presented by State Farm Monday night in New York. She got to hear her name called in the second round as the 17th pick and is headed to play for the Golden State Valkyries. Along with seeing her dream come true, she got to share this moment with her now fiancé and Maryland women's basketball alum, Faith Massonis. Sellers popped the question this past week, and the two are now happily engaged and even got a shout out from the Terps congratulating them. Congratulations to Cheyenne and Faith on the 2 milestones.
The college lacrosse season continues to be must-see from the Terps, but we have so much more to catch up on from the Diamonds and the court.
That's right. Stay tuned to find out how Maryland softball and baseball fared this weekend and what the Maryland basketball coaches have been cooking up in the offseason. It's all coming up after this short break.
Welcome back to the Left Bench. I'm Matthew Neus alongside AlexabWootten, and Alexa, both Maryland baseball and softball failed to get it done this weekend in their weekend sets.
Yeah, both Maryland baseball and Maryland softball unable to get it done, but let's start at the softball complex.
Let's do it. Maryland softball returned home for a weekend set with Iowa on the back of being swept in its last 2 series. The Terps' losing streak extended to 10 after another loss. Iowa gets the scoring started in the 3rd inning with a sac fly to go up 1-0. Iowa adds another run in the 4th to extend its lead to 2. The Terps put 2 runners in scoring position in the bottom of the 4th, but can't bring any of them home. The Terps struggle on offense, leaving 8 runners on base in the game. The Terps ended their 9-inning scoring drought in the bottom of the 5th with a solo home run over the scoreboard by Sydney Lewis. Maryland added 1 more in the 6th, but a 2-run blast by Iowa in the 7th capped off a 7-2 win and a series sweep. Here's head coach Lauren Karn on her team's struggles at the plate.
Reality in the box, like we're really tight right now, and everyone's trying to make something happen themselves, and at the same time, just hitting tight. And so we're feeling the pressure of those moments because we're not able to push runs across, and we need to work on our mentality.
Maryland baseball's postseason chances continue to dwindle. After beating number 15 Oregon in Game 1 of Sunday's doubleheader, the Dirty Terps had a chance to win the series in the 2nd game, but fell flat against the Ducks. The Terps began the game in the lead after a 2-run single by Hollis Porter. But once the 5th inning comes, Maryland loses the lead and never gets it back. With the game knotted up at 3, Oregon's Mason Neville steps up to the plate and demolishes a 3-run homer to left center, his 16th of the season. 2 batters later, Jacob Walsh launches to the right center, giving the Ducks a 5-run 5th. Oregon adds another in the 6th and 4 more in the 9th to leave College Park with a comfortable 13-3 win in this series win. Here's Maryland head coach Matt Swope on what went wrong for his team.
We just kind of ran out of steam, and again, kind of the theme for the season is just way too many freebies there. Like the majority of the game, we were kind of escaping throughout the game and trying to just go on sheer grit and trying to get that comeback.
Now, baseball and softball are on a bit of a downswing, but Maryland hoops seems to be trending upward. We moved to Studio B to take a moment to break down the whirlwind that is the college basketball transfer portal.
I mean, it is ever-changing, and it is hard to keep up with all the moving pieces, but hey, I mean, Buzz Williams is wasting no time building this roster. As of right now, not a single player from the 2024-2025 season will be returning to Maryland. So Williams hit the transfer portal hard, and he has already brought in a slew of transfers from across the country, And he just brought 2 more in this past weekend.
That's right, 2 came in this weekend, and one of those commits comes all the way from the West Coast out in Pullman, Washington. Isaiah Watts announced his commitment to Maryland on Friday and will team up with Miles Rice once again, who also transferred to Maryland on April 6th after spending time at Washington State. Fans should be very excited for Watts to join the Terps in the backcourt. He was one of Washington State's better scorers last season, averaging 11 points in 23 appearances. Watts has a knack for catching fire from deep. He has a career three-point percentage of 36% over 2 seasons playing for Wazoo. He can also elevate for some high-flying slams, which should go down well in a raucous Xfinity Center next season. He joins a highly touted class of transfer guards that consists of Rice, David Coit, and Andre Mills. Now, Alexa, I think when you look at what they lost last year, Crab 5 is no more. You lost all your guards, all your shooting, all your production. This is a guy that I think can come off the bench and really contribute right away in maybe that 6th or 7th player role.
Yeah, I mean, you lose Gillespie, he's going to Tennessee. Rodney Rice, Maryland's still in that discussion with him in the transfer portal, but Buzz Williams can't rely on just that. He's got to bring in a shooter, and I think Watts could be that player to really knock down some shots on the perimeter for Maryland. Like you said, coming off that bench, being that spark.
He kind of reminds me of a little Chance Stevens from last year. You know, 3-point shooter, can get streaky. Chance never really got a shot. Last year, not really extended playing time. Maybe Watts can be the guy to come off the bench, hit a couple threes, get the place going at Xfinity Center.
Now you see him on your screen. While Isaiah Watts comes from across the country, Elijah Sanders is transferring from ACC rival Virginia. Small forward, played 2 seasons at San Diego State before transferring to Virginia. He's a 6'8" incoming senior who averaged 10.4 points and 5 rebounds per game during his junior campaign for the Cavaliers. Second on the team in both categories. He's physical inside, can score on the low post, and he has the ability to step outside on the arc and knock down a shot. Another great grab for Buzz Williams as he created a solid inside presence for next year's squad.
Yeah, and you know, you lose Derek Queen, you lose Juju Reese, you even lose Kapare, who are 3 of your taller players on the floor from last season. This is a guy that can come in, instantly make an impact down low on the blocks and the post.
And Maryland's team this year is going to look very different from this past season. But he already has Solomon Washington coming with him from A&M. Now you have Elijah Saunders coming from Virginia. I think creating that inside presence is going to be really big for Williams and the Terps next season.
Yeah, if I'm a Terp fan, I'm very excited. You know, how long has Buzz Williams been here at Maryland? What, 2
weeks? And I mean, he is bringing in players.
He's bringing in players. You saw him. There's what, 8, 9 of them on the board already? I mean, all impact guys, guards, forwards that can really make an impact, make a difference, you know, anywhere on the floor.
Definitely, I think Maryland fans should be very excited for all the work he's already done. But I think we got to talk about that Maryland women's basketball coach, the winningest coach in Maryland basketball history, Brenda Fries. There is no doubting her.
That's true. Over 600 wins at Maryland achieved this season. And with Maryland women's basketball, they needed to retool with Cheyenne Sellers going to the draft, Sarah Tibiasio, Christina Dalsey departing the program as seniors. And Fries wasted no time in the portal after the Terps' Sweet 16 loss to South Carolina and brought in one of the more underrated players to College Park. Center Gracie Merkel comes to Maryland from Penn State with plenty of Big Ten experience and notable size that's eluded Maryland teams of the past. Merkel stands at 6'6" and averaged 15.5 points and 8.6 rebounds last season in State College, both Nittany Lion team highs. She wreaked havoc against the Terps in January, posting 24 points as Maryland had no answer for her in the post. It's been a few seasons since Fries had a true center to turn to, and Merkel will be a valuable addition after the Terps struggled at times this season against size down low. Now, I said it, one of the more underrated players. I think that because she played at Penn State, I think they won 1 Big Ten game all season, not the best side in the Big Ten, but she put up 15 points, almost 9 boards a game. Those are numbers that are going to do very well at Xfinity Center for Maryland.
Yeah, Matt, you've talked about it. I can't really, and I don't think you can either, really remember the time Maryland had a true center. And I mean, that was something we talked about, how they struggled against her again in Big Ten competition. They struggled against Lauren Betts against UCLA. If they can bring in the natural height and physicality that Merkel brings to that inside perimeter, I think that's going to be huge for Maryland in just working out all levels of their game.
Yeah, I think the upside for Merkel is huge. The one thing I'm kind of nervous about, she only averaged, I think, 23 minutes a game at Penn State. We know Brenda Fries teams, they love to run up and down the floor, like to go fast. Can Gracie Merkel kind of, you know, hang with that? She only played 23 minutes, only really a half a basketball per game. Can she hang with that fast-paced tempo up and down the floor, playing offense, defense, back to back to back?
It's going to be really interesting to see, but a great grab from within the Big Ten for Brenda Fries and her staff. But she's not the only Big Ten transfer coming into College Park For Maryland women's basketball, Yarden Garzone also made the jump from Indiana. Through her 3 seasons at Indiana, Garzone averaged 12.4 points and 5.1 rebounds per game, not to mention a 42.6 shooting percentage from behind the arc, and is the program's all-time leading scorer in three-pointers made with 220 total. She can shoot the ball. She also is a great passer, moves off ball, and crashes the boards. And according to Freeze, she is consistently a core player on really good winning teams. Something Maryland will want with the loss of 2 prominent guards to graduation. And Matt, we talked about that. Cheyenne Sellers headed to the W, Sarah Tibiasu graduating. They need guards. And I think Garzone is actually a great addition. Her ability to shoot is going to be huge for Maryland.
I think the three-point shooting is going to be her biggest asset for Maryland. I think, you know, you lose Cheyenne Sellers, a proven winner, you know, a player that's been at Maryland for 4 years. Then you lose Tibiasu. You kind of grew into that point guard role at the end of last year. I don't see Garzone as the true point guard. I think they're going to go out and they have to go get another guard. But I think this is a really solid pickup to kind of slot in maybe that 2 position, kind of that shooting guard role, and just, you know, take shots from deep.
No, I think she's great. Put her on the 2. You put Kayleen Smichael. She's able to come back on that 3. You do have Bree McDaniel. I don't want to lose her yet. She played some pointers sophomore year out with the injury, but I do agree. I think Maryland wants to bring in just one more guard, just have that solidity across in the front court.
You mentioned Kayleen Spanko, Sailor Poffenbarger back as well. It's going to be a deep class of guards for Brenda Freeze once again, and I'm excited to see what she does with it.
Yeah, so clearly there is no question that Maryland basketball coaches are really working at this offseason, hitting the transfer portal hard, and trying to recreate the success we saw in the 2024-2025 season, both Sweet 16 runs, trying to bring in those players to reboost that success.
You said Sweet 16, Final Four run for either of them, maybe?
Looks like they're working towards that.
Looks like it. Now don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we will run back one of our favorite games one more time.
Also give you our Terp of the Week, Pro Terp, and Top 5 plays.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Welcome back to the Left Bench. Matthew Neus with AlexabWootten here in Studio B for another edition of Wavelength.
Yeah, Matt, I mean, this is one of my all-time favorite games that we've been able to do on Terrapin Sports Central, and we get to do it one last time.
Let's get started.
All right, so just a little refresh on the rules on how we play at Wavelength here at TSC. You may have seen it on TikTok or Instagram, but here's how it works. On the monitor is a wheel. On the left side and right side of the wheel are 2 opposing concepts, like good player or bad player. I'm going to close my eyes, and we're going to reveal a colored targeted area on the wheel. We'll then hide the target area, and it's Matt's job to give me either a Maryland coach, Maryland player, that will land between the 2 opposing concepts on the spectrum of the wheel in that shaded area. If I land in the targeted area, I will get the points revealed with the answer. If not, no points for me, but we are ready to get started. Are you ready for Wavelength, Matt?
I am. I think we're going to be a team this time. We're going to work together.
Okay.
So I feel like the maximum...
Collective. It's our last show. We got to work together.
We have to work together one last time.
Okay.
All right. So I think I'm gonna close my eyes first. You're going to see the wheel and then give me a player or a coach.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there.
Here we go. Okay.
Right.
So 2 concepts. Needs a few more years. NBA draft ready. So
gonna close my eyes.
Close his eyes. We're going to see where that target area lies. Okay, so for everyone watching. All right, Matt, you are going to keep your eyes closed for just one more second while they get rid of the targeted area.
NBA draft.
Yes, needs a few more years, NBA draft. Okay, you ready to open your eyes?
I am. Can I open my eyes?
Yep, you're good to go. All
right,
my answer for you is going to be the freshman phenom, Derek Queen.
Alrighty, I think Derek Queen, I think we can all say, anyone who's watched Derek Queen in the NBA draft, I think Maryland fans would wish he needed a few more years just to develop, but he's going to be a lottery pick, I feel like he's going to be more over this way. I think he's going to be way down. I think he's definitely going to the draft. He's definitely going to get picked. I'm going to stick him right in this
All right, I'm going to move out of the way so everyone can see where Matt was putting his pick for Derek Queen NBA draft. Let's see if we can get the results.
All right.
And you're going to land on the 3. Okay, pretty good.
All right, not bad.
3 points for the team.
I'll take it. I'll take it. It's a good start. It's a really good start.
All right, so I'm now going to close my eyes, and Matt is going to give me a clue to try to figure out where it is going to lay in this wheel.
So the next two categories, not so clutch and clutch.
Got it. Okay, so made for the moment.
Exactly.
Maybe not so much.
Maybe buzzer beater, maybe, a low light if he's not clutch. They're not clutch.
Okay.
All right. So for the people at home, there we go. There's the target area. If you could shade that back over. All righty.
Good to look?
Yep, you're good to look.
Okay.
I am going to go with Fats Russell. It's kind of a player, where would you put him? Do you think did he make a lot of clutch shots?
I remember there was that one that he knocked down the big three-pointer. It was when the 0-2 national championship team came back. That's when we were freshmen. So 3 years ago. I'm really going back in the memory bank.
That's true.
I don't know if I'd say he's the most clutch player ever in Maryland basketball history, so I think I'm going to go.
So where does he kind of stack up against, those
middle ground
like those Mellow Trimbles, Jameer Youngs,
I mean, those
Daryl
are
Morcells for that shot against Minnesota.
I think I'm going to go in all-time Maryland. I think I'm going to go more leaning this side.
Okay.
I'm going to give him, some moments.
Right.
I'm going to say right about there. Okay,
right.
That's my answer.
All right.
Let's see if I'm
Let's
right.
see if we were off.
I doubted him a little too much.
Yeah, I feel like Fats, he's not as clutch as those Jameer Youngs, those Mellow Trimbles.
I guess that's true. I said he had the big three, so I should have leaned this way.
He made a couple big shots, not as many as some others, but it's a good guess.
Okay.
Definitely not the clutchest player that we've seen in our 4 years here, but
up there. Had some great moments.
Has some clutch genes. Not a lot of clutch genes, but a couple.
All right, so we're going to take that off. I'm going to give you the sticky notes, and it's going to be Matt's turn to close his eyes.
Okay. My eyes are closed.
Okay, so we have bad Maryland sports moment and good Maryland sports moment. Okay, I'm going to see where it lies right here. Okay, I think I got it. All right, I think we're good to wipe the screen. Matt can open his eyes.
Am I good?
Yep, now you can open your eyes.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'm going to have to go. Okay, this might be a little controversial. I'm going to go with the toss-up. I think I'm going to say when Mark Turgeon left Maryland basketball.
All right. See, I could take that two ways because that season was terrible.
But also middle of the season, that's a hard thing for a team.
It is, that season.
I don't think I'm supposed to keep talking, so I'm just going to leave it there.
All right. So I think, in my opinion, I will say it, I'm a Mark Turgeon truther. I think the way that was handled was pretty bad, and it led to a bad season.
It's hard. Middle of the season,
you're right. Middle of the season, I'm going to go more of a bad Maryland sportsman just because of the vibe around the program at the time. Danny Manning coming in, not really going his way. I'm going to stick it kind of in this middle range. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go right, kind of in the middle, kind of that. Now it's off again.
Just there though. I was trying to get you in this middle area.
Feel like,
maybe not the worst, but I don't think you never want to see a coach live middle of the season.
I feel like we're kind of on it.
We're just almost there.
We kind of have the same wavelength.
All right, let's see if we get the final one. I'm gonna prove we have the wavelength just a little bit.
So we have 3 points. Let's get a 4. Let's get a 4. Let's end on a 4. Let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes now.
All right, so we have overrated and underrated. Okay. So there's the point zone for the people at home. All right. I think I'm good if we can cover that back up. Okay. So
you're good
to look? Yep, good to look. Overrated, underrated. I am going to go with, this one's tough. This one is tough. I mean,
you gotta give me we're trying to get points here, okay? We gotta do a good one.
I know, just overrated, under, there's been a lot. I'm thinking, I'm gonna go. Go
with your gut.
I don't know my gut. I'm gonna go Juju Reese. I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
You know,
this is a tough one.
I think there's been a lot of doubt about Juju Reese. I think he's proved a lot of people wrong in certain ways. I mean, he's an all-around Maryland player. I think a lot of Maryland fans love him. I mean, the standing ovation he got on senior day. I think he's gonna go more middle ground. So, okay, here's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with this. If you're hurting me with this clue,
this was a tough one. I mean, come on.
Go,
overrated, underrated, that's so.
I think I'm gonna say he's underrated right here.
All right.
I think people doubt him a little much.
We were.
It's right there.
I know, but what would you say for overrated in this area of a Maryland player?
No, I mean, that's hard. That's a hard position. I could see that. Juju has definitely a lot of strengths.
I mean,
not able to get to the draft like Queen, but a lot of strengths, a great career. And I can see that answer.
I think Juju has had a great career here at Maryland. I mean, there's been some games where he's kind of, low on points, low on rebounds. But I feel like they kind of set us up with this.
Yeah,
one.
this is hard. You know what, producers, this is a hard one, okay? So we're going to leave it at 3 points as a team. We did our best. I mean, it's a fun game, and I think that is going to do it for Wavelength.
I think that's it. I mean, not the best performance, but I'll take 3 points for sure.
Yeah.
All right, take that away so no one remembers how bad we were. But Alexa, I think we have a couple of awards to hand out after that Wavelength game.
Yep, you are right. So let's get rolling. Now it's time to name our Terp of the week, and it has to go to the newest member of the WNBA draft. Giant Sellers was selected as the 17th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft. Sellers will go down as an all-time great in the Maryland record books. She became the first player in program history to reach 1,500 career points, 500 career rebounds, and 500 career assists. Congratulations to Cheyenne on joining the W and being our Terp of the week.
For this week's Pro Terp, we'll go over to Poland for the Polish Women's Basketball League and former Maryland women's basketball player Stephanie Jones. Jones landed at Polish team Arka Gdynia, one of the most accomplished women's basketball clubs in the country with over 10 league titles. Jones was critical to her team's success throughout the entire season. The forward averaged almost 17 points a game and just under 8 boards an outing. Jones' side won on Saturday 87-71 to clinch the Polish Women's Basketball League championship. Congrats to Stephanie on being named our Pro Terp. All right, Alexa, time for our top 5 plays. Let's get us started.
All right, at number 5, it's going to be Matthew Keegan. 3 goals against the number 2 team in the nation, a hat trick for the attackmen against the Buckeyes.
And at number 4, we're going to go to the softball complex. Sydney Lewis, back, gone over the scoreboard in center. A big blast from Sydney Lewis. Maryland ended up dropping the game and the series, but a big home run from Lewis there.
Not the only Terp to get a big blast. Jacob Orr, the go-ahead home run right over left field. That's going to give Maryland the lead and a chance to win the game.
Yeah, they didn't end up winning that game there, but big shot from Orr. And at number 2, to the Plex, Kayla Gilmore, catch and score. A big pass there from Devin Livingston on the other end, and Gilmore catches and fires home.
Wow, and number 1's got to be Logan McNaney. He beat a 40-year-long program record, the number 1 save record in Maryland program history, 715 to be exact. The doorstop save, first play of the game for him.
I mean, when you think about Maryland greats, Maryland lacrosse greats, he has to be up there. He wears the number 1 this year, save record holder. I mean, he is Maryland lacrosse when you think about it.
That is, I think, a statement many Maryland fans are going to agree with. And that will do it for this edition of The Left Bench. And for Matt and I, it is our final time anchoring at the desk.
I want to thank you for, 2 years? We started junior year, so 2 years ago of anchoring together. It's been great. Had a lot of good ad-libs, a lot of fun.
Matt's made fun of me a lot.
That's true. But I think it's gift-giving time, right?
I think so. A little something to commemorate the 2 years anchoring together.
I think Alexa and I got together last week and we thought doing gifts, but as, fun gifts, kind of inside jokes kind of thing. So do you want your gift first, or do you want to give me my gift first?
I'll start with mine.
Okay.
So Matt and I, like we said, anchored together these past 2 years, but we became associate producers together.
We did.
And when Matt put my contact in his phone, he labeled it as AUP AlexabWootten, so he wouldn't forget who I was.
Sure.
And then when we became senior producers, he changed it to SP. But to commemorate that, I got him a keychain that says AP on it. So Matt never forgets who I am or that we anchored together.
That's awesome.
And we were associate producers together.
I love that. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
Now, my gift's going to look really bad when you pull out like a custom-made keychain like that. I don't know who told you to do that. But so this is a little inside joke. I think we're the only 2 here that know about it.
So it's not a new tire. I popped my tire, and Matt's made at least 10 ad-libs over the 2 years
popped
about
a tire, car battery dead.
Okay, let's get to the gift. No need to go down the list.
Okay. All right. So first, I want to give you some flowers. Just say thank you. And then here's the gift.
Okay.
I went through.
So I didn't wrap it. He's upstaging me here.
I just put it in the bag. It's not really wrapping. Do you kind of want to explain what this is, or do you want to?
So it's Sprite because Matt and I got to travel to Africa together to report on the NBA and basketball on the continent. And apparently I developed a Sprite addiction when I was there to stay up because I don't drink coffee. So.
I don't think it's apparently. I think the one day we went out to dinner in Rwanda, you had what, 4 or 5?
Okay, I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration.
Kind of maybe put us over budget for the dinner?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
Sorry. But, well, I want to say thank you so much for a great 2 years. I've loved every moment. I've loved every moment getting to be a part of Terrapin Sports Central. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for all the opportunities it's given us, the ability to grow, and I just can't be more proud to be part of this organization.
You kind of took everything I was going to say out of my mouth. Yeah, I just want to thank everybody that's come before us. Katie Maher, Kevin McNulty, Kira Bruno, 3 GOATs of TSC, TLB also, in my opinion. But thank you so much for anchoring for the past 2 years. It's been a lot of fun, and I know we're all both sad to have it end.
Yeah. Should we wrap it up?
I think we have to.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, you can keep up with all of Terrapin Sports Central's coverage by subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on X, Instagram, and visiting terrapinsportscentral.com.
From the 2 of us for the final time at the desk, goodbye.